Stat streaming.
You bastard.
Stat streaming, you bastard. Oh, we've been live for 5 seconds. Okay, here we go. Let me get the Audacity going in 3, 2. Alright, welcome to Longshots Sportscast, Longview, Washington's #1 sports-related podcast. 24 weeks running. And of course, you know me, it's your host, Mike Holm. With me as always is Brady Rucola.
Good afternoon.
And fresh off of his 3-week break, it's Tom Cruise Jr. himself.
Yeah, there he is.
Skylar Loudon.
How's it going, guys?
Oh, you know.
Well, you guys tap soda and peanuts, man?
No, I forgot.
Oh,
I forgot. Yeah, shit. This is why he left in the first place. So here we are. We're in kind of an interesting spot. We got a lot to talk about. First and foremost, the NBA boycott, which happened in the wake of the shooting of Jacob Blake. Obviously, very touchy matter. We've also got the drama that kind of swirled at the top of the week with the Ravens and now former Ravens safety Earl THomas. And barring anything else, we're going to be doing a watch-along of Pat McAfee's match, his debut against Adam Cole. Baby. So, boys, I think it's important we kind of get into this boycott talk, honestly.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So, initially I heard, this was, I think, the day before, is that Van Fleet from Toronto, him and the players were talking about possibly boycotting Game 1 against the Celtics. And then from there, I think it was the next day, I showed up to work. It was probably about maybe 1:30, 1:45, and then I hear probably around 2, nobody's playing. Everybody's boycotting, at least for that day. So that's all I thought it was going to be.
We were getting pumped up for a Blazer game.
Yeah, it was Blazer Game 5. Dame was ruled out because he had that knee injury. Ended up being a sprain.
And now Dame's home.
Now he's home. Anyway, so I was pretty shocked that everybody wasn't playing. I was like, okay. And then they were supposed to have a meeting at 8 o'clock that night. And at that meeting, apparently the Lakers and the Clippers said that they do not want to continue the playoffs.
Right.
Cancel it, boycott. And every other team said, we still want to play.
Yeah, it's essentially LeBron and Kawhi going, you know what? And then, and then the top 2 seeds in the West, they're like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
This is a situation bigger than us, so I think we need to just not play. And then everybody else was like, wow, that is so cool and brave of you to sit this one out so we can go get a ring. Man, all right.
I mean,
thank you.
I was even cracking jokes.
later.
I was even cracking jokes like, so Blazers advance, right, to round 2. We don't got to worry about it,
Yeah,
right?
I'll take a ring however we can get it.
Right.
Wow, that is so brave, knowing, just giving your... And then, meanwhile, Anthony Davis is sitting there like, will you... Looking at LeBron like, shut the fuck up.
Can you just be cool, man? Just be cool.
Can you just be cool for 5 fucking seconds?
All jokes aside, so, and then apparently LeBron, he ended up walking out, getting kind of upset, and I guess what that ended up being was that the Bucks came out with like no notice. Right? Nobody had any idea. Apparently, it was on a whim.
They didn't tell the Magic.
They didn't tell anybody,
No.
and so I guess LeBron somehow took offense to that.
Even Barkley said that's the only... He goes, I understand why they did it. The only thing I don't like is that they didn't tell Orlando. So Orlando's out there warming up, not aware that the Bucks were going to boycott.
It was almost like, okay, we're just doing this on our own to look better. I don't think that was the idea behind it.
Everybody actually assumed that they were throwing the game, because at that point they were the only team that was boycotting.
Well, and for not telling Orlando and all that, I mean, I almost feel like it should be a forfeit situation. I feel like they should lose that game.
Yeah, I can see that.
Not that it's going to do anything for Orlando, but
I can see that. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's their players they're fed up. They weren't even sure. I mean, Kyrie Irving was the first to say, I don't think this is a good idea. We shouldn't even have a season. We shouldn't resume it at all. There's a lot of stuff going on.
It's the same stuff that, it's the same general problem that we saw at the crux of this with the George Floyd situation.
Yep.
I mean, and even before this, in recent years, when we had players coming out with statements on like shirts for warm ups and stuff like that, and then then you had the whole, I forgot who the reporter was saying, just shut up and dribble.
Right. Well, right now you've got.
It's been going on for a
you've
while.
Got a situation, and everybody's trying to combat this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this guy, this guy's a convicted this, and blah blah blah, and he may or may not have had a knife. At the end of the day, why are you going to shoot a guy at point blank range 7 times?
In the back.
And I was watching
in the back.
In the back.
Yeah, that's really messed up world.
Like regardless of your thoughts on this situation, it or as far as
black or white, man, it's not right.
It's a human being.
And
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't think of a situation where I'm going to shoot somebody. I need to shoot anybody more than once, maybe twice, if I miss the first time. You know what I mean? You shot a guy.
If they have their back toward you, was you running away?
Right. You shot a guy. If they get their back toward you, that's likely that they're running away.
Listen, if I'm protecting my family, somebody comes into my house,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what color you are, pink, purple,
Yeah.
and you have a weapon on me,
Mm-hmm.
I am going to empty my weapon to protect my family.
Understandable.
Sure.
And you're taught to empty your weapon.
Yeah.
You're not taught to shoot once. You're taught to empty your weapon.
I think that's what people are having the problem with is the how these officers are being trained. I think they want them to be trained more. I don't know. In a different. Because what I've been told is an officer, when you fire, you're not aiming to wound them.
You're shooting to kill.
Shooting to kill. That's what it is.
No, that's what you do. You shoot to kill.
Yeah.
But it tends to be this fine line between like stepping up as a community leader,
and then you have a taser for a reason, right?
You have a taser for one, which exactly.
Should that be your first?
Now,
with some of these guys.
Now I know there's different circumstances
Right.
that call for drastic
no.
measures.
No. What I was going to say, there's times where if that probe doesn't, if they're wearing too thick of clothes and that probe doesn't go through, it does not.
And then that's when you pull the gun out, maybe.
Or if they're high, I've watched cops 100 times where they shoot guys 6 times with a taser, and he's just like, what?
I've seen
What?
it. But, if the guy's unarmed,
I will say,
to your knowledge,
most of those situations are anomalies, and there's no reason why you don't go to the taser first.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting situation. I think that this is one of those deals, though, where right now, I mean, the police have a bigger target on their back than ever before. This is definitely a situation that they really didn't need on them.
No.
But you got one guy who's, fuck it. We're only, 3 months removed from what can only be described as a murder on camera. And, I don't know, let me just empty most of my clip into this guy's back.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the video?
No, I haven't watched it.
Fucking rough, man.
It is.
Like
it is.
The thing is, and that's the thing. It's a fine line between protecting and serving, and then outright militarizing.
I honestly, in the video, I did not see a reason to have to shoot him. He was, point blank.
Well,
he was point blank.
Some folks are like, oh, he drew a knife. Some folks are saying this and that. You don't need. He's got his back turned. You don't need to empty a clip into the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Crying out loud, they got him handcuffed to his bed right now.
Yeah, so...
Where's he going to go? He's paralyzed from the waist down.
Yeah. So they end up, resolving, coming to a consensus, I guess. LeBron changed his mind, Kawhi changed his mind, saying, let's resume the season. And the way I look at it...
the television stations prodded them going, our top 2 seeds in the West aren't going to play, which means no ratings.
I don't know if it was necessarily that, or it's like, you can speak your mind and send your message without even having to... Alright, Skylar's showing me the video now. I've never seen this. Okay, suspect gets in the car. Oh, this is the Jacob Blake.
Yeah. Now, we don't know, did he grab a gun in that car?
Is that when they shot him when he got in the car?
I heard knife, but the point is like, damn, dude.
Yeah. I mean, there's different ways to go about it, but
I think a taser would have sufficed in that situation.
yeah. Back to what I was saying is, is there a way that they can still, and I think they figured it out, is there a way that they can still play, and still stand up for what they think is right, or to still speak their voice. I know they did the thing with the stuff on the back of the jerseys,
yep.
The sayings and the messages, and obviously the BLM on the court. So I don't know. Maybe they figured why stop playing. And still not be able to get our message across. So you can do both, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just another thing. I mean, I hate to be a downer in this situation. This is obviously not the first time. This isn't going to be the last time that a situation like this happens.
Mm-hmm.
This was probably not even going to be the last time a situation like this happens during the playoff. During this lockdown either. I mean,
I get it, man. I get it. These guys want to go out there and they want to protest too, and they want to try and do their part.
I mean,
it's difficult, and maybe them thinking stopping and canceling the season is like, hey, like no, we're not gonna be out here for your enjoyment. Like we want this to stop.
And McAfee brought this up right around the time the George Floyd murder happened, where he said, this is, at the end of the day, yeah, we've come a long way as a society. Regardless of how progressive everybody is, there's always going to be people that are like that.
Until this earth implodes,
there's always going to be that uneducated, people unwilling to see equality in black and white and what have you.
In my opinion, it's all how you're brought up and how you're raised and your morals that you're taught. And sadly, a lot of these people keep breeding.
Well, but the point being is, it's a case where
I don't think anybody is born.
It's a shame, but it's a case of just rising above and around it, and just kind of putting these guys in a corner.
I mean, nobody's born racist. Nobody's born to hate. It's all taught. It's all taught, and until and that's obviously the idea here. What everybody's trying to get their point across is like we're not going to put up with it anymore. Like there needs to be some sort of change. And I think it all starts, in my opinion, is in the more poorer cities and inner cities, and like the people pretty much just neglect that part, and there's no help around there. There's no and it's just
there's good officers that aren't racist,
and there are bad,
and there's bad officers. It's even in races. There's good white people, and there's white people that give white people a bad name.
Well, and
it goes for every race.
As far as cops and stuff go, here's the thing: there's awful people at every job in the world. The only difference is these people are supposed to protect and serve the general public.
It's one of those jobs where you can't be that kind of person to even have the job, and there should be obviously more of a background check or something maybe. And even then, it's kind of hard to tell what somebody's true intentions and feelings are.
Yeah, because they can buffalo. I mean,
yeah. So it's just one of those things. But I just think there needs to be more repercussions for things like this that happen, because there's been cops, like the cop who killed George Floyd, who has shot numerous people and killed them.
Floyd was not his first.
It's what needs to happen is, first of all, it should never happen, and it should never come to a cop doing something like that. But if it so happens, they need to be fired, not just on leave with pay. Yeah. Not just
they need to be fired and charged.
Right. Exactly, and charged, and face the consequences just like any other person would. You shouldn't be above the law just because you have a badge. You should be held to the same accountability.
And tell that to the government. But that's
a different show.
Well, that's exactly what people are trying to do right now. I don't think we should defund the police, personally. I don't think that's a good idea at all either. but definitely some reform. That's
Yeah.
what needs to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Because defunding the police is not going to make the situation any better.
Diversity training. I mean, there's
Yes,
so many
stuff
things.
like that. So, and I know people think with their emotions and that. I just don't think defunding the police is right. Like, you shouldn't treat all cops as bad cops. Like, you should just disrespect them. Yeah, let your voice be heard. Go protest, whatever. But, I heard something the other day. Rioters trapping police into a precinct and setting it on fire. I mean, that's just cold-blooded
No,
murder. That
that's-
makes you no better.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Even MLK, he said, we don't want to do this with violence. That will never solve anything.
Right.
And I'm not saying anything about the protesters or anything like that's fine. And I know these rioters, they have a different agenda. They're Marxists. You can't really group the two together, but it's just anarchy out there, man. I mean, just look at Portland, look at Seattle, look at Wisconsin now. We all heard about that 17-year-old, right?
Right.
Yep.
There's a lot of mixed things in there too that you're seeing on social media and this and that. That he was either in the right or the wrong, but first of all, he wasn't legally allowed to even own a gun. 17 years old,
Right.
and that wasn't his city to protect. You're pretty much going out there hunting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, and just whether to say the people who attacked him first or whatever, he shouldn't have been out there in the first place doing whatever he thought he was doing. Yeah, it's just crazy. So I understand the boycott. I understand what the players are feeling.
Right.
But on the other hand, I am glad that they can still resume the season and all that. But I don't think I would be too upset given the circumstances if they didn't.
That's
No.
all right. That means we get to look forward to a 3-game win streak by the Blazers.
Yeah, let's go.
That's exactly
Blazers
right.
in 7.
Win one for Dame.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, win at least one.
some other news on the scuttlebutt here. Let's see here. Kind of on a lighter note, obviously, this is a serious situation, and it's it's going to take some time before it gets better. But moving on from that, they got Pandemic P as one of PG's official nicknames on Basketball Reference.
Yeah, I've been seeing that all over Reddit and all that.
Because he Paul George is.
So he had that one 30-point game finally, right?
Yeah.
Against the Mavs game.
Speaking of Paul
4?
George,
No, game 5.
can we have a general discussion here?
Hmm?
Think of your top 5 most overrated players in the league right now. Because I've got 3 right off my head.
As of right now.
I feel like I have 3 that are pretty easy.
Okay, as of right now, obviously Paul George is, my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think Russell Westbrook this year, he has not, in my opinion.
I feel like he's in that Chris Paul spot where everybody who's James Harden's number 2 is just doomed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's been the thing since Dwight Howard got there, and then when they had Jeremy Lin for a little while. It's just anybody who's supposed to play second banana to that guy is just doomed.
I know he's hurting out right now, but Ben Simmons,
Ben Simmons is in my top 5.
Awful.
he can't shoot.
Ben
What do you have if
Simmons,
he can't shoot?
Ben
in an era
Simmons
today
can't
where it's
shoot.
all about shooting.
Yeah.
Well, and Colin Coward made a good point. He goes, dude, they took Ben Simmons, the 76ers did. He can't shoot. They drafted Markelle Fultz, who is the only guard who can't shoot.
Yeah.
All you need is Lonzo Ball there, and you've got yourself a team.
Who needs shooters?
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons is in my top 5. I think he's a good player, but for as much as he's hurt, Joel Embiid's in my top 5 most overrated for sure.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I'd probably put him in the same category. There's 2 from the Sixers.
Exactly, which goes to show you.
Why the head coach got fired, but it
they disappointed
goes
this
to
year.
show why they haven't gone on
But this is the
further
thing.
than what everybody thought they should be.
Simmons or Embiid and I'm gonna say it's Simmons. One of those guys you have to move off of, and you gotta shit or get off the pot if you're Philadelphia.
Well,
right
and
now.
it's definitely Simmons.
right? Because you can work with Embiid. Like I feel like if he had another,
You could. He needs a supporting cast like Kawhi to take the heat off. Embiid's a guy that he needs to sit like 20 games.
Yep.
You know going in that you're either going to lose him for 20 games or more, or you need to sit him
so
and load
you
manage
almost
with
need
him.
like a superstar in there.
You need at least one super. If you send Ben Simmons away, because not only is he not as good as everybody says he is.
Yeah.
His style of play clashes with Embiid. It's two guys fighting over the ball, which is hilarious because one of them can't shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you send Ben Simmons away and you get him just another guy who can help take the load off. I mean, they brought in Al Horford, and who's great. Tobias Harris, well, he's not. He's good. But he's also getting up there in age. Tobias Harris, I think they paid him a little too much, if I'm being honest with you. But he's another B player. But if Joel Embiid just had another complimentary piece to help him out, and you a deeper bench, then that solves your 76ers problem right there. But at this point in time, you've got to stick with him, but the Simmons thing, he's got to go.
Yeah.
So I definitely think Simmons is probably the most. I would say he's the most overrated player in the NBA. I would say Paul George is too, because here's the thing: Paul George, he lights it up in the regular season. It's just the playoffs where all of a sudden we see triple singles left and right, and outside of, and then he has one game and he's like, oh yeah, I'm a fucking
He's walking around like Conor McGregor, and it's like, okay, you had one decent game,
And he loves to have game-winning shots hit over him.
Yeah, that's his fucking favorite. But he's definitely, in my opinion, overrated. I'm not saying he's not good. He's just not as good as people think he is.
No, certainly not. As far as a 4 and a 5, that's where it gets tough.
Well, I just don't think there's like really too much more. I mean, you could maybe put Chris Paul in there, but like he's not really getting the recognition like he used to anyway.
Chris Paul redeemed himself.
We'll see.
Chris Paul redeemed
He's got to beat
himself.
the Rockets to redeem himself.
No, I don't know about
In my opinion.
Let's
taking
go.
In my
By the
opinion.
way, let's
Yeah.
beat the Rockets.
In my opinion, he's got to do that. For me
I've
to
never been
fully
a Thunder
say-
fan, but
Speaking of, it says here, let's see. I just saw it. Russell Westbrook will play for the Rockets in Game 5 against OKC. So,
Okay.
we got a series here, people. Obviously, the Thunder, we both had Rockets in 4. In fact, I've
Guess
got
what? The series is tied now.
I've got the sheet right
yeah,
here.
Russ, you better get back.
isn't Utah ahead of Denver right now?
Utah's ahead 3-2. So here's the thing, to catch you up. Brady had the Jazz in 7. I had the Nuggets in 7. Right? We both had Raptors in 4. That worked out. He had Celtics in 5. I had Celtics in 4. Obviously, we got the sweep there. He's got Mavs in 7. I have Clippers in 6. So if they win next time, I got that one. We both had Bucks in 5, which could still happen. He had Heat in 6. I had Heat in 5, and obviously they swept, so we were both wrong. We both had Rockets sweeping in 4 because it just didn't look like the Thunder were going to kick it into high gear, and that didn't happen. We've actually got a series now, and then he's got Portland in 7, and I've got LA in 7.
Which I would
Yeah,
obviously change now. But this was pre any game.
Well, this was a week ago. I mean, here's the thing though. The Rockets, we and this is the thing. Every time I count Chris Paul out, every time I think that Thunder squad is out and down and you're done, all of a sudden there's 2 wins in a row. Shea. Oh, that was you. I thought that was like a phone button. Shea's playing out of his mind. Dennis Schroeder dropped a 30 bucket on them.
the last game, it pissed Harden off so much. He kicking the chair over, walking back to the locker room.
That's because James Harden's a child. Also, I want to take a side note and point out, Facebook decided to become Twitter now on desktop, and it's, look at this shit.
Oh, is that the?
You can't make this shit up. Look at,
You're on Twitter.
that's Twitter right now. This is Twitter. This is Facebook.
I don't know who gets on Facebook on desktop. Never done it.
No, certainly not me. What am I, some dork?
Maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it first came out.
Yeah, so lame, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, and you're not gonna want to talk about that Lakers Blazers series.
Well, so why don't we cover the NBA games overall?
Yeah.
Let me see, because obviously we talked about the Heat and the
Mm-hmm.
we talked about the Heat sweeping already. The Jazz and the Nuggets was. I mean, this has become a series now.
Jamal Murray is the man on fire.
Jamal Murray has scored 90+ points in his last 2 games.
In that last game, I think he scored like 33 points in the second half.
Something crazy
And he
like
didn't
that.
go out of the half at all and ended up.
Damn, that Clippers-Maverick series is a good series.
It's not though. It's not.
It's not?
It was.
It was, man. Like
Luka hit that frickin' 3 in overtime, the buzzer beater to win it was
Listen,
the sickest shot
I don't
I've
wanna-
seen since the Kawhi shot last year.
I don't want to relive Tuesday because that was such just a horrible fucking day for me. But man, okay. Tuesday. My girlfriend calls me 20 minutes before I start work. Hey, is my teal bag there? Yeah. Shit. Is my driver's license in there? Yeah. Do you need me to bring that to you? Yeah, but I'm in Vancouver. Do you have anybody else that can come get that for you? No. No, but I don't want you to be late for work, but you don't have any other options.
So yeah, you got an
Oh.
option. So you come drive back home and get it and go back.
No shit. So I run this thing to her in Vancouver. Run it back. I don't get to work till 4.
Fucking good guy Mike.
Till 4. That was shit. Horrible mistake number 1. Horrible mistake number 2 was getting the chili Rianos at Rainier's Don Pedro's, which was the most horrible chili Riano I think I've ever had in my life. The fact that they called that a chili Riano is really not good. So that was awful. Work was a drag. That was the longest snail-paced day I think I could ever think of in my life. And then to top it all off, I'm like, you know what? We got basketball. We've got Mavericks and Clippers, and this has been a great series so far. Even the last game without Porzingis, Luka hit that 3, and oh man,
yeah.
we're in for a treat. And what happens? The Mavs get off to a hot start in the first half of the first quarter, and then they wind up getting blown the fuck out by 43 goddamn points.
I think that was like the biggest margin in points in playoff history, if I'm not correct.
It's literally, I hate this blowout basketball, and it
I think
didn't
the
help.
Clippers had like the third most points scored in a playoff game ever.
The day before, we get the Lakers just fisting the Blazers out
Oh,
there.
yeah. About that
Hey,
game,
hold
though, that's
on,
what I
let's
wanna
stop.
talk about.
Let's stop. The Lakers didn't fist nothing.
They
The refs fist.
Yeah.
Well, the refs in that first quarter were pretty rough. But my
That's
point
all-
is,
the first
I
quarter.
mean, what's it going to take to get LeBron James a technical
the
foul?
first quarter and half of the second quarter.
my point is, there's nothing worse than in basketball than watching a fucked up blowout game of 20, 30 points. That's not entertaining to me. Even the Warriors could be blowing somebody out. And I'm sitting there like, okay, I mean, yeah, we're dominating, but God damn it, like like it's only fun if it's your team doing it, I guess.
Yeah.
If you're just if you're hoping to just watch a competitive back and forth playoff game, and one team's up by 30, that's a snore, man.
The Rocket Thunder game looked good on Monday.
I'm sure it did. I didn't get to fucking watch
114,
it.
117.
I think it went to overtime.
Did it? No.
Is either that or the game before.
No, but Houston missed some crazy number of threes.
But yeah, about that frickin' Mavericks Clippers game, bullshit. That Lakers Blazer game, the refs, it was pretty obvious, and it wasn't just me or you watching it saying that. Everybody was saying it.
Yeah.
It's all over social media. It was pretty fucking clear what was going on. It was Mamba Day, Kobe Day.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, so
I see.
it was already
for a
Big
little
to
piece,
begin
little
with.
piece of news.
They
I was
essentially made it an LA home game. at
It's
that
exactly
point,
what it
I mean.
was.
I was in the middle of nowhere camping and just happened to get the game on satellite radio.
Oh man, be glad you
That's your
didn't.
first mistake.
Just be glad you didn't watch it.
But
'cause
I mean, from what
I wanted to vomit.
LeBron not getting a technical for arguing with the ref for 4 minutes.
Yeah,
Dude,
and when he was up 30 points, why are you arguing with the ref that bad when you're
Dude.
up 30 points? I'd get it if it was like a one possession game, two possession game.
Whenever Whiteside touched the ball, I wanted to throw up a little.
And and then they got that big lead early because of the refs, and then obviously it was taking Portland just morally crushed like this. We're not going to win this game no matter what. And there you go. Then the Lakers ran with it, ended up winning by like 30, and Dame ends up getting hurt again, his knee.
Interesting.
Ended up getting sprained, did an MRI, came back negative, but then it was sprained. So he's out of the bubble now. Went back to Portland. So
We gotta win this series without him.
We will not have him for Game 5.
So, interesting note, a couple weeks ago, I think it was the week I did the solo show, which was about a month ago now, the Knicks had hired Tom Thibodeau to be their coach. Obviously, most people will remember Thibodeau had his glory years with, prime Derrick Rose, the Chicago Bulls, Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson, Luol Deng, Boozer. Anyhow, Thibodeau recently obviously signed with the Knicks to be their coach, and now he is completely overhauling the staff of assistant coaches there. Mike Woodson, Andy Greer, and Daisa Yoshimoto are going to join
good luck with that.
his staff as assistant
Joke of a
coaches.
franchise.
They're a joke because of their owner, though. They're the Redskins of the NFL. I'm
They're
sorry.
the Washington football team.
Yeah. Who are the Redskins?
I'm so sorry. They're the
How
Washington
dare
football
you.
Team of the NFL. This has been ASMR. So anyway, so they signed. They overhauled their assistant coaches. Also, though, Ty Lue is looking to probably become a head coach again. Obviously, he's been seen chewing gum on the Clippers sideline.
Was he going to go to Utah now?
Whenever the camera cuts to Doc
Big
Rivers.
Man got freaking
Why,
fired.
why Utah?
Or he could go to...
Why not go to Indiana?
Yeah.
Wait,
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah.
in
Nate-
I
Indiana?
don't know
Nate-
why I always mix up Indiana
Philly?
and Utah all the time.
He can go
Big
Indiana.
news, Nate McMillan getting fired.
Yeah, I don't know why
Yeah.
you do that. That's you're
It's
weird.
weird
That's
as
why.
hell,
Yeah.
man.
Tyler,
It's not the first time I've done that within the last couple of weeks either.
he's seeking a deal similar to Tom Thibs' deal with the Knicks, which is about 5 years, $30 million. Be interesting to see him go into head coaching again for the first time since getting fired by the Cavs.
By
I believe
LeBron?
didn't LeBron want him to coach LA though,
I think he
or he wanted to bring him into LA, but
we
they
wanted him there somehow, some way.
they went with Frank Vogel. But
I mean, technically
he wanted.
Technically, he went to LA.
No, but he wanted somebody else. LeBron did not want Frank Vogel to be their coach.
I mean, I don't know if he didn't want him to be their coach.
I don't-
He wasn't the guy that.
Look-
or I should say, it's not that he didn't
I know
like.
that. I know that wasn't his pick.
That wasn't his pick. I thought his pick was Tyronn
It was
Lue.
Ty Lue.
Look
Ty
at,
Lue-
let's
yeah.
why are we beating around the bush on this? Why not just make LeBron James the
Well,
fucking
here's
coach?
what I was getting at. Even back in Cleveland, there was jokes going around because LeBron was pretty much coaching
Yeah.
the team.
Why not? Why beat around the bush? LeBron's this big shot. He wants to run the team. Just let him be the coach, player coach. Fuck it.
I mean,
Then you don't have to give some other guy a headache and a stroke for dealing with this big-headed motherfucker.
Dude, for real, Ty Lue looked like he aged about 10 years and
Yeah.
3,
Oh, yeah.
like coaching LeBron. I mean, that guy, I've seen, he does not look as young as he is.
So here's my thing. So is Ty Lue that good of a coach, or do you think they just had the right team? They had LeBron.
I mean, I think we're seeing some guys
they
are,
had
some
Kyrie,
guys
they
are
had
only,
Caleb, they had J.R. Smith.
but is that's the Luke Walton thing too, though. Luke Walton everybody wanted to carry him around on their shoulders when he was a big part of the Warriors 73-9 season.
Well, I mean, I guess-
What has he done with the Sacramento Kings?
What can he do with
Except get in trouble.
yeah.
Or get me too'd,
Uncle Touchy.
Uncle Touchy.
Oh, God.
So listen to this. In the 94 playoffs, Hakeem Olajuwon beat 9 All-Stars while being the only All-Star on the Rockets. Man, that's pretty cool.
You know what I mean? Maybe that is a coaching thing. I don't know. But Yeah, I mean, yeah, Ty Lue was. I think LeBron. I don't know if it was LeBron who wanted him, but I know they were in talks,
So allegedly, though,
interviewing or whatever.
Pat Beverly got into it with Michelle Roberts in yesterday's meeting.
Get in with like?
So listen to this. Roberts asked politely if she could continue with her point, and Beverly responded, "No, I pay your salary."
Oh God.
Sources said. Then I don't know how to pronounce his name, but from the Clippers, Zubac.
Yeah, it's Zubac.
Zubac, awesome. He says, "I don't know who leaks this stuff, but Pat never said anything like this." Facepalm emoji.
You know, that might be a guy standing up for his teammate, but I could definitely see Patrick Beverly saying that.
Thank you.
Completely.
That's what I.
Do you guys not see what he's doing on the sidelines every game, acting a fool?
Draymond
talking
Green.
Shit to the players out there all day? Like, what? Yeah, that could I bet you 100% he said that.
Draymond Green has joined CNN as a contributor.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's pretty
Just
cool.
when I couldn't dislike the dude anymore.
That's my favorite player you're talking about.
Yeah, your favorite player. One of my least favorites.
Oh, I know. That's why I bought his shirt.
Yeah.
Like I could have gone with everybody else. I have a Curry shirt. I could have bought a Klay Thompson shirt. Or in that series, a KD shirt. I bought Draymond Green on purpose because y'all.
Because nobody would ever buy that shit.
Because y'all hate him so much. Something to note. I don't know when it happened, but Jarrett Stidham got hurt.
Mm.
Or maybe not. Maybe he's fine. Yeah, he was hurt for a minute.
So I guess that'll wrap up our bubble news, huh?
That's our bubble news, and then so to keep going. Brian Urlacher, he kind of made a comment, sort of backing the cop in the whole Jacob Blake situation, which
Who's
I think doing that.
Michael Strahan?
No,
Brian
Brian Urlacher.
Urlacher.
Oh,
But I think that's a bit. Obviously, we talk about guys that do this. It's just tone deaf. Just shut up. You know, that's when in doubt. Which I don't think he was in doubt, but when in doubt, shut up. When it comes to this race relation stuff, goddamn. Like Matt Forte came out and he commented on it. The comment Brian Urlacher posted is void of empathy, compassion, wisdom, and coherence, but full of pride and ignorance. I pray for those who've been blinded by their wealth, privilege, and earthly fame that breeds arrogance in their hearts. The Bears immediately came out and said this does not line up with the Chicago Bears values, disavowed him, all this other shit. Thought it was interesting. Dan,
see, I'm kind of torn between that stuff because, not to say he was right or wrong, just that everybody does have a right to freedom of speech and their own opinion. Now, if he's out there totally saying some disrespectful things, which you could interpret that as disrespectful, I guess, but like, I don't know. I don't know what he thinks he saw or what he thought was going on there. But maybe somebody just needs to take him aside and like kind of try and get what his point of view really is. I mean, I just saw the video. I mean, obviously it looked really bad. But
yeah.
For the franchise to come out and say this doesn't stand with our core values because of something that he said that maybe people didn't agree with, I don't know.
They have to protect themselves. Everybody is
It's one
so
of these
sensitive to all this right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That
I agree, and like I said, like I'm not saying he was right or Lacker was right by saying any of that. I just
it's just like if I said something that you guys felt was insensitive, you guys would run right onto Facebook
yeah.
and be like, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
this doesn't."
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I mean, I think there's just a fine line between what's blatantly racist and ignorant, or there's just a matter of opinion, and it's just. But some things, though, there's just certain things where you can't really. I don't know. You're either on one side that's good, one side that's bad, but I don't know, man. Because what did he come out and say? Just that he thought the cop was in the right.
He was like, "Yeah, you guys are back. You guys are making a big deal about a guy who was grabbing a knife, who was a convicted sex offender, or a blah blah blah." And it's
Wasn't a sex offender, was he?
whatever it was. He had not a sex offender, but he had like a
A rap.
He had
Some-
a
he
bunch
had
of
some kind of
domestic
rap.
violence.
Yeah.
regardless of that, it's like, dude, come
yeah.
on. Like have a little bit of awareness of, social
But
awareness.
was that what he was doing? Was he going in his car to grab a knife? Is
No
that what
I
he
don't
was
know.
doing?
We may never
Nobody
know.
knows.
No idea, but with his back turned, tase the fucking guy.
I guess, but like then I think
The
about
cop
this.
had a hold of the back of his shirt like this.
Right.
When he pulled the trigger, he had a hold
Oh,
of
okay,
his
yeah,
shirt.
yeah. There is no
Right.
reason.
He shot
to do
him
that.
point blank range
Yeah,
in
there
the
is
back
no reason for that
7 times.
at all.
Right.
And I'm not trying to justify anything. That's what I guess what I'm trying to say is like, does Urlacher even have? Does he even know like the whole story, or is he just going off of what he saw people say?
Just being tone deaf.
You know what I mean?
mean,
Yeah, like you're saying. So,
So
It's better to keep
maybe
some stuff
yeah,
to yourself.
yeah. I guess you're right.
So listen to this. Earlier this week, Washington football team President Dan Snyder had a whole bunch of more crap levied against him from cheerleaders discussing some
God.
sleaziness going on.
Sleaziness by who?
Well, let me find it.
Sleaziness or like sexual assault?
Wow, Washington Redskins. Okay, so Washington football team appointed Jason Wright as a president and historic hire. He's the first ever black president in the NFL football team, and everybody was like, "Whoa, very cool!"
Yeah, that's big news.
They released Darius Geis in the wake of his domestic violence thing. Whoa, very cool. Way to be progressive. And then there was something.
So what? He's sleeping with the cheerleaders?
There's something else here. Pending Washington football news. Oh shit, that was from a month ago. I'm telling you, there's a couple days ago. The problem is, takes a minute. Attorney Lisa J. Banks tells the Junkies, that's a radio show, that she's heard from another dozen women in the last 48 hours who want to share their experiences at the Washington football team organization. There's a lot more of the stuff that we were hearing before. But here's the thing: if I look up, let's see here. This is totally bush league right now, but can I just go sorted by new? So Jenkins says, "This is what the NFL gets for not scraping Dan Snyder off its shoe by now. The good bits, quote, description of the soft porn videos of cheerleaders, outtakes of nipples, crotches inadvertently exposed and intentionally kept for the enjoyment of juvie little pervs in Washington's upper management." And there was a big Washington Post allegation a couple days ago. Minority owners pressure Dan Snyder to sell Washington's football team.
Wait. What's up with the videos?
Oh, do you need links for later?
No.
I'm just fucking with you. Well, I need to know the news from this, though. So
is it like these? They were doing it themselves. Like the girls were like taking these photos and videos of themselves.
I think it was other people videoing them, obviously. So
but like they were consenting to like here's my nipple.
So here's a statement from Goodell. We strongly condemn the unprofessional, disturbing, and abhorrent behavior in the workplace environment alleged in the report, which is entirely inconsistent with our standards and has no place in the NFL. An independent investigation into these issues is in process, led by highly experienced counsel recommended by our office. We will continue to monitor the progress of this investigation and ensure that the club and its employees satisfy their obligation to give full cooperation to the investigators.
Yeah, no, that's just all saving things.
If at any time the club or anyone associated with the club fails to do so, the investigating counsel has been asked promptly to advise our office, and we will take appropriate action when the investigation concludes. We will review the findings and take any appropriate action at any time. But I want to see.
I just want to know what.
So
Are
how
you
long?
saying this is the Washington?
Well, I got to find the actual thing.
This is from Washington.
Washington Post.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So, and this is like 2 days ago.
So
I
what I'm
wasn't-
gathering is that there's some videos out there of the cheerleaders exposing themselves, and upper office people or have the videos.
Darius Geis told Washington he had anger issues months before arrest. Search warrant says. Yeah, but
Does it give you the right to go beat someone, beat your partner up?
No, certainly not. But there it is. Found it. Lewd cheerleader videos, sexist rules. Ex-employees decry Washington NFL team workplace. In Beauties on the Beach, the official video chronicling the making of Washington's NFL Team 2008 cheerleader swimsuit calendar, the women frolic in the sand, rave about their custom bikinis, and praise a photographer for putting them at ease in settings where sometimes only a strategically placed prop or tightly framed shot shielded otherwise bare breasts. What the cheerleaders didn't know was that another video intended strictly for private use would be produced using footage from the same shoot set to classic rock. The 10-minute unofficial video featured moments when nipples were inadvertently exposed as the women shifted positions or adjusted props. The lewd outtakes were what Larry Michael would then the team's lead broadcaster and a senior vice president referred to as, quote, the good bits, or, quote, the good parts.
Jesus.
According to Brad Baker, a former member of Michael's staff, Baker said in an interview that he was present when Michael told staffers to make the video for team owner Dan Snyder. Snyder and his team provided no comment after they were given repeated opportunities to respond to this and other allegations before the publication of this story. In a statement released hours after this story was published online Wednesday, Snyder wrote, "I do not have any knowledge of the 10-year-old videos referenced in the story." Why do you have to reference the time for how long the time frame is if you're not, guilty on that? Oh, it's 10 years ago. It didn't happen. I did not request their creation, and I never saw them. Liar.
Yeah,
I never saw.
Even that you said that you never saw them.
Michael also adamantly denied the allegation. Nothing could be further from the truth. I was never asked to, nor did I ask someone to compile videos as you described. Michael said in an interview. Baker recalls otherwise. Larry said something to the effect of, "We have a special project that we need to get done for the owner today. He wants us to get the good bits of the behind-the-scenes video from the cheerleader shoot onto a DVD for him," said Baker, who was a producer in the team's broadcast department from 07 to 09. Washington Post obtained a copy of the 2008 video from another former employee, along with similar outtakes video from the squad's swimsuit calendar shoot in the Dominican Republic in 2010 that included a close-up of one cheerleader's pubic area, obscured only by gold body paint. Exactly. In addition to, if you close it up on you.
It kind of looks like.
In addition, a former broadcast. Wow, we're 10-year-olds. In addition, a former broadcast and producer for the team that told the Post that Michael ordered the 2010 video to be burned to a DVD called For Executive Meeting.
What are they doing in
the
these
former
executive
producer?
meetings,
These
man?
guys are just dirty dogs.
Getting the hogs out and
The
going
former
to work,
the former producer. That's not funny. The Hogs is what they called their O-line in the 80s.
Exactly.
The former producer did not recall the Michael mentioning Snyder. Both former employees spoke on the condition of anonymity because they feared retaliation. Michael denied knowledge of any such videos. On August 18th, the Post emailed the team's public relations representative a summary of its reporting and detailed questions. The team, through its public relations firm and lawyer, requested additional days to respond and did not accept repeated offers from the Post to show team officials these videos. Ultimately, the team provided no comment, and Snyder did not agree to an interview. The 6-paragraph statement Snyder released Wednesday began, "The behavior described in the Washington Post's latest story has no place in our franchise or in our society. While I was unaware of these allegations until they surfaced in the media, I take full responsibility for the culture of our organization." And in response to the last month's post detailing allegations of widespread sexual harassment in his team's front office, including by Michael, Snyder publicly stated that such behavior has no place in our franchise, and hired a law firm to set new employee standards for the future.
Yeah, so I see nothing has changed over the last 10 or so years.
It's just more shit coming out.
Yeah.
Now you've got 25 women, most of them speaking on the condition of anonymity, not because of non-disclosure agreements or fear of reprisal, told the Post that they experienced sexual harassment while working for the team. They described male bosses, colleagues, and players commenting on their bodies, clothing, incorporating sexual innuendos into the workplace conversation, and making unwanted advances in person or via emails, text messages, and social media. Many said they were motivated to speak out because they were angered by Snyder's comments after the Post report last month that detailed allegations from another 17 women, which read as an attempt to distance himself from the workplace culture described.
Bunch of horny bastards.
So,
I mean, come on, dude.
So you've got 42 women in total right there. You've got another dozen that are claiming they have, more to talk about. So this isn't going away. I think
that's good.
It's all mounting up, but you've got...
Rob Snyder, just sell the fucker, dude.
I feel like any other...
Get out before you go to jail, dude.
Any other owner would have kind of just been like, all right, time to get the fuck out of here. But
yeah.
he's the one guy that wants to dig his heels in and go, no, I didn't do enough. I didn't do bad enough. Like, Just kind of an interesting thing. Hopefully he gets ousted again. Everybody who listens to this show knows my opinion on Dan Snyder by now.
Yeah.
Was he one of the guys hanging out with Epstein?
Fuck, I wouldn't put it past him, dude.
He's probably like on the waiting list to
Yeah.
go to fuck.
He was,
So-
and he's like, that bastard got cat.
That's the shit that's
not
gonna.
get too far into it. But,
That's the shit that's gonna get us in trouble.
But back to the Blake shooting, I just read an interesting article. Really makes the cops look bad, I feel like. But all felony warrants and charges have been vacated against him. Handcuffs have been removed from his hospital bed.
Oh god.
And deputies are not in the room anymore.
Interesting.
For
He's
what?
paralyzed.
No shit.
Oh, he didn't
is.
die?
No.
No.
I did. I just read that. I wasn't aware that he was still alive.
So,
But
you
yet,
can bet your ass those cops are fired.
well, look,
Because
So-
it's going to be a class action,
Yeah.
biggest lawsuit
He's
you've seen
been-
in a while.
he's been handcuffed to his bed, and then now apparently there's no felony charges against him, and the handcuffs have been removed.
Look what's going on right now. You think that's the best move, to have him handcuffed to his bed and have him charges brought against the dude?
But you stick to
Probably
your
not.
you stick to your guns.
So-
you don't.
I
You
guarantee-
don't go, oh shit, the world's crumbling.
Uh,
Let's just vacate all charges and unhandcuff this guy.
So
That
Well,
makes you look worse. That makes you look like you shot
Guilty.
an innocent man.
Makes you look guilty.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't their decision. You know damn well it wasn't their decision. It was the chief of police, whoever's in charge,
That's not even the chief. That's the court system.
or whatever.
it's literally
You know
like
it wasn't. You know it wasn't the cops who did it who fucking said, "Oh,
it's literally like when you're a kid and you take your brother's favorite toy and then he's looking everywhere for it and you're like, oh hey, I found this just now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, did you?
And
Like,
so and this
It's
is
really
where
not a good look.
no, it's not.
this is what it comes down to, man. It's like, obviously you shouldn't be killing people just because you have a gun and you have a badge. But also on the other hand, it's like, I feel like it's gonna make even good police, when they're in a sticky situation where maybe they should, probably won't and risk their life. You know, it's just a weird time, and it's a weird, and I feel bad for the good cops. I really do.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, these bad cops, these crooked cops, they need to be dealt with, and they need to be handled
They do.
accordingly. And it's just I don't like how the media and honestly just all of America is treating cops right now as a whole. But I do understand why when we're seeing things like this every day, and it's been happening every day since I've been born. You know what I mean? Like it's
Listen to this and how thorough. Changing the subject, but with how thorough New England is. Patriots leaving no stone unturned in this, quote, game simulation. Brian Hoyer just faked an ankle injury, so Jared Stidham had to scramble off the sideline to get into the game. I mean, they're doing just all over the place, just doing stuff. Interesting.
interesting to say the least.
Brady said the pipe didn't sound at Raymond James Stadium at scrimmage today. Sounded like one of the Colts old tapes in the RCA Dome.
So let's get back on Earl THomas.
Oh, I almost forgot. Thank you for reminding me.
Mhm.
Earl.
So-
Earl THomas.
So I didn't even really read into it. I've been just so not even on social media and stuff lately. What was the final straw for the Ravens to say, hey bud? Because I heard, there was some problems in camp and this and that. What actually happened to where they're like, hey dude, you're done?
Well, it didn't seem as though he blended with the team. So it said,
That's okay, but like they're obviously, when they say things like that, it's very vague.
here's
So,
what
happened?
I've got via CBSSports.com. Ravens general manager Eric Acosta has earned his universally high accolades for his work since taking over for legend Ozzie Newsome, running the Baltimore roster for good reason. His moves have been mostly nothing short of expert, taken on the whole and individually as well. It is hard to quibble with his signings and trades and draft picks, with one exception. A high-priced exception who never really fit in there, who failed to ingratiate himself at all off-field and barely on-field, and whose exit this weekend after just one season amid scandal and controversy was the talk of the NFL. Everyone makes mistakes, and this was a big miss. Let's see.
Okay, it's still very vague.
Hold on, I'm getting there. Then, let's see. Many around Thomas put up with him. Shall we say showing up, not quite ready for practice, or missing meetings, or doing whatever he cared to do on game day rather than sticking to the scheme or play call. After all, this was a future Hall of Famer who had been the closest thing we've seen to Ed Reed during his storied career in Seattle, and this franchise was not shied away from taking on guys with difficult personalities. This was different, sources said. This was personal. There was a sense on that defense that Thomas was not part of the group and did not care to really be part of the group and had eroded too much trust to really be accepted anymore, and his teammates saw his skills deteriorating and missteps magnifying. A year ago, with the team winning every week almost, and the defense improving once Clark took over starting duties and wore the headpiece in his helmet to communicate the calls from the coaching staff, the Ravens were willing to put up with Thomas because of his track record, and because he was coming off a significant injury. Maybe he would get better on the field and play himself into better shape and adapt to the group over time. Maybe he would clean up his act, but it didn't work. And things were not getting better. His first few weeks back in the building this summer went largely as they did a year ago. Team sources said there was a mounting sense among the club's veterans that he would be better off without Thomas than with him. Addition by subtraction. Cap issues be damned. This has been coming for a long time, said one team source. Guys have been frustrated about the situation since last year, and it was only getting worse. He had to go. Easily the most disliked guy in that locker room, said one source who had been in contact with a multitude of Ravens about Thomas, not even close. They put up with a lot last year, but it's all about trying to win a Super Bowl there now, and guys did not want him around. It was really bad way before the thing with Chuck Clark. Indeed, multiple sources said Ravens Leadership Council made it abundantly clear to management last week that they strongly believe the team would be better off without Thomas. As we first reported over the weekend, there was no debate at who was at fault in the physical altercation with Clark, and the dichotomy of the universal support for Clark and the candid remarks from player to coaches about wanting Thomas gone was lost on no one in that organization. It was pretty unanimous that they were better off without Earl THomas.
Yeah, so it sounds like one of those cases where
he got into a scuffle with their co-starting safety,
which obviously wasn't the only thing. It just sounds like a prima donna in there. Thinks he's better than everybody else. Doesn't have to put as much work in. Kind of not a team player. Not to mention what happened just was like 4 months ago about the shit with his ex, probably now ex.
Yeah.
Getting caught when she had like a gun and shit. I'm sure he's been kind of not totally focused on the goal here that everybody, it seems like in that organization, is focused on, is a Super Bowl.
Well,
he seems, I already got one of those. I've been the best. I've been talked about. And so it seems to me like he's got a big head and doesn't want to contribute into the...
he's coasting on his status.
You're right.
And here's the thing. The way that he's behaving and the way that his behavior has been described, it's largely reminiscent of when Percy Harvin got traded to the Jets. Mm-hmm. What did they call? They called him a locker room cancer.
Yeah,
cancer.
Mm-hmm. A cancer to the team. My coaches, when I was in high school, there was players ended up getting kicked up. They were a cancer to the team.
Yeah.
Just no. That's not what we're about. That's everybody else is all in. You're not all in, and you think you're better. You're a cancer. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the Ravens did. And good for them. And not to say he doesn't got talent, but if he's fucking around and thinking he's better, it's not going to go anywhere.
And sexual allegations be damned. It's very similar to the AB situation last summer.
It's very similar to it. Maybe not as like on the grand scale, but it's still the same type of energy.
It's a circus around one guy.
Yep.
You don't hear shit about any of those other Ravens.
Nope.
Marcus Peters, Chuck Clark, none of those guys. You don't hear Jimmy Smith,
Lamar Jackson, any of those fucking guys. You don't hear nothing.
Especially on that defense.
But you're talking about just strictly defense, yeah.
You don't hear anything about those guys at all. It's like, but you got one guy fruiting around because everybody's told him since he got here that he's the shit. Oh, I'm the shit. I can do whatever I want. Well, okay, do it without a paycheck then, because nobody needs to deal with that anymore.
And and these reports are coming out. Now you think, okay, whatever, they're going to kick me off. Somebody else will pick me up. Will they? Because a lot of teams won't put up with that.
It's like
shit.
You're a decent player, but you're not a good teammate, and that's what's important.
And maybe you're going through some shit that people don't understand. But at the same time,
Because
dude.
I don't remember
At the
allegations
same
like this coming from Seattle.
No.
No, we always had a pretty good locker room presence. We everybody was pretty tight. There was a thing going there. There was
But
a
that
bond.
was when he was a good teammate.
Right.
That was when you had.
That was before all the hype and the fame and the.
Well, that was Legion of Boom.
Mhm.
That was a team. That was cohesion. You had a lot of big personalities on that team. Him and Sherman and Cam and Brandon Browner and those guys.
Unfortunately, when these guys get this big old, they get a big head about themselves, and they think they're just the greatest thing, and they end up thinking they don't have to put the extra work in. They don't have to do this or that, like you're saying, him not having the mic in or whatever.
Look at New England. Look at New England. Addition by subtraction, which seems to be Bill Belichick's mantra.
Mm-hmm.
How many great players have been shipped out of New England and done fuck all since?
And
Chandler Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he's... And these guys are not necessarily locker room cancers, but it's a case where you can gel better with having just a good team and deal with your cap issues later. Chandler Jones gets shipped out, and he's putting up good stats, but Arizona hasn't done a damn thing in years. Jamie Collins gets shipped to the Browns. I think he came back for a little bit, but he gets shipped to the Browns. Didn't do shit with Cleveland.
And each team, they have their own type of culture, and then maybe Earl Thomas didn't fit in there. Maybe that's it.
It could be.
Maybe he just didn't get the vibes. Maybe he just wasn't what he was about. Because I'm sure Seattle and then Baltimore, it's a totally different atmosphere.
Yeah.
Could be, right? And so maybe he just wasn't about it. Maybe he was doing it himself to I want out of here.
Question is now,
Not to say it's the right thing to do.
who signs him?
I don't know. I know he wants to go to the Cowboys,
I feel like they would, though.
and they
Oh
just
yeah, the Cowboys.
The thing about the Cowboys is they don't mind guys with character issues.
No.
yeah.
That's the reason they haven't won a Super Bowl in fucking ever.
Well, these are the guys that drafted Randy Gregory after his bullshit in college. They don't seem to mind guys with character problems.
Right. So
I could see them taking him but
from what we're hearing and what get reported, I mean that is like a job interview, right? When you see an application, they put a reference on there. You call them up. Hey, how was this guy when he worked for you? It's all over the internet, man.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. Every team, franchise knows this is how
Honestly,
he's been acting. It's a big risk, especially how much are you willing to pay for this risk?
he goes.
Is it going to pay out? I don't know. If he's acting like this there, what makes you think he's not going to do it here?
There's one of three situations I think that happens. He goes to Dallas. Dallas is like, hey, we've got what we think to be a championship-ready team.
Or a desperate team.
We sign you and
With
add
Dallas, I would say,
another
is
piece to a secondary that's going to lose 3 guys next season.
Mm-hmm.
Oakland, because they are packed full of guys with character issues. They just drafted a corner with
That's just
big,
their
bad
that's their
character
culture.
issues.
He probably fit in perfectly.
bunch
there.
of thugs.
Yeah.
That's been their whole thing.
Mhm.
Vontaz perfect,
Yeah.
you know. Or he goes to, nobody wants him, and he takes a vet minimum with, if he's that desperate to play,
If he's that, which I think he would
he
be
takes
too
a
highly.
he takes a
might
vet
need to
minimum
do that, but-
with a shitty team, and it's probably Detroit.
Mhm. See, I think what you were just saying right there, desperate veteran. I don't think he would ever take that.
No.
I think he would quit before he did that, like kind of like AB.
Yeah.
I feel like he might take it with Seattle.
I
He
don't know
might
because
take
there
a
was so
vet-
much shit there.
He might take a vet minute.
He had problems with
No, but even
Carroll.
then-
He had problems with more people than that, and
Even then, you guys just
Yeah.
shot a wad for Jamal
Yeah, we don't
Adams.
need him.
Pete Carroll came out and said something about the whole thing. I don't
Oh,
remember
really?
what it was. Can you bring that up?
I can give it a shot. Yeah.
He definitely came out and said something. I think he said it was sad. And other players have said things too. I don't know if it was just based.
Oh,
on
we gotta give a shout out to Mama Blue.
Mama Blue.
Mama Blue has cancer.
Ooh. Oh. Well, what kind of cancer?
Pancreatic.
Pete Thomas, or I'm sorry, wow.
Pete Thomas.
Pete Thomas. Pete Carroll and Earl Thomas. It's a bad situation when they send you home. Last time Earl Thomas was in a Seahawks
One
uniform,
thing that
he
wasn't
was-
even on the radar.
Thank you. Last time Earl THomas was in a Seahawks uniform, he was raising his right middle finger toward Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
The safety was carted off the field in Arizona in 2018 with a broken left leg, effectively ending his career in Seattle. The Seahawks moved on, failing to give Thomas the extension he sought and not attempting to sign him in free agency. A little more than a year later, the Ravens moved on from Thomas, whom they signed to a 4-year, $55 million contract. They sent him home Friday after he punched teammate Chuck Clark. That was the last straw for the Ravens in an apparent long line of Thomas missteps. Carroll spoke Monday for the first time since the Ravens cut Thomas. It's been a tough time for Earl, Carroll said via Bob Condata of the Seattle Times. That's a hard situation. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
I wish he could have avoided that from happening. Whatever that was, that's a bad state to get in when they send you home.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't much of a statement, but, like, yeah.
Translation. You glad we got rid of him?
Pretty much,
And
right.
he is someone else's problem.
Mm-hmm.
I bet Carroll had a giant smirk on his face when he said this quote.
Oh, I'm sure he's like, wow, we really did dodge a bullet, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because I think he just got too big for his britches, honestly, and
No
that's
kidding.
what happened. And he thought he was just this dude that nobody. Hey, dude, sure, you're the guy. We've been telling you you're the guy since you showed up here, but still be that guy. You know, don't go acting like you're better than everybody. And you don't have to put the same amount of work in, and don't have to bond with us as a team as if like you're better than the team. And that's one thing in football, dude.
Right.
You cannot think of yourself better than the team.
No.
Even if you're the best at your position or you're the biggest playmaker out there, it's all about the team. And that's a big thing in football.
It doesn't say what kind of cancer, but Pete Carroll said, send in our love and support to Mama Blue as she battles cancer, the matriarch of the 12s, a Hall of Famer, and a true competitor.
Yeah.
Well, best wishes.
Our wishes are with her, absolutely. So, heading into the final stretch of the show, we are going to check out the probably the most talked about match from NXT TakeOver 30. The much ballyhooed, especially on this show, Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee, Indianapolis Colts punting legend, Pat McAfee. And this is NXT TakeOver 30, or Triple X. If you're watching with us at home, it is 53 minutes and 53 seconds. I'm sorry, 53 minutes and 58 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
Over social media. 2 years in the making, and time for talk is now over. Adam Cole, Pat McAfee are going to square off one-on-one here at NXT TakeOver 30.
We turn our attention now to the WWE and our very own Pat McAfee.
Adam Cole. Hey! You and I have had moments. You sound a little soft, Adam Cole.
Really? Coming from a punter. Are you kidding me? Shut up, Pat!
There is a lot of buzz about you because you have all these accolades. That has to feel pretty cool.
I look at our roster and to think that I'm the king of that brand is pretty cool. So you have an argument to that?
The Undisputed Era is the main reason why you've succeeded. But by the way, smart, especially for you because you're kind of small.
Oh, we're gonna go with the size thing now.
Seriously, I'm sick of you. You're going to continue to disrespect me. Don't touch me.
What the f is wrong with that guy? We had a chance to talk about our misunderstanding. It came to a head. You know, I'm mature, unlike how Adam looked in my studio. Listen, I know he can be a little fiery. You know, he has a little bit of a short temper and all that stuff. I mean, I'm crushing.
At that moment in time, my mind was made up to put an end to the charade that is Pat McAfee.
How about you do something about it? Do something about it. Island Riley distracted by what's going on. Retains the tag team title.
How big is that going to change? That for the rest of your life, you're going to be a tiny, itty bitty, short little. All it takes is one bang.
Oh, God. Triple H is going to make an exclusive announcement live on Get Up.
NXT TakeOver 30. Pat McAfee, Adam Cole, if Pat has the guts to say yes.
I accept the challenge for sure, and this guy right here, bang! I'm gonna walk in there, beat his ass. Hey, Pat McAfee! You want to come to my world and play wrestler with Don't you forget, you kicked me with my arms behind my back. You are not special.
Guess who's back?
And I'm going to dance on the grave of the entire f***ing NXT.
And kick over 30.
It's going to end with one swing of his foot. Bang! I'm going to make you my bitch. And that, actually, I think it's undisputed. Take the photo, Colin.
Oh, I love Pat McAfee.
I've been so excited for this.
Have you seen it yet or no?
No, I've been saving. It's really the only match I cared about from the show.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, representing the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole!
King of this brand, Pat McAfee does not belong. He will never belong. Adam Cole talking about it being the meantime. Beth known has been a better big match player in NXT than Adam Cole.
Adam Cole, of course, has drawn comparisons to the young Shawn Michaels. He talks the talk, but when given the opportunity, Adam Cole always walks the walk.
Consummate pro in every aspect of the word.
His entrance is fucking great.
This rivalry has gotten insanely heated in a hurry. I cannot wait to see what's in store. Cole said he's been disrespected for 2 years. He's heard all the short jokes. He's been waiting for this moment to shut the mouth of Pat McAfee. No more running your mouth now, Pat. Let's go.
I think it's awesome that he's in NXT though. Like I was following him in Ring of Honor for years.
Hello, Stooges. Pat McAfee speaking. Let's go, boys. I want to see you up close. I've kicked off Super Bowls. I've sold out buildings across this great country, but tonight is years in the making. And wakey, this one's gonna end quick with one kick from the strongest leg in the history of humans and the history of legs in general. Let's do the damn thing. Hit my music.
I think it'd be great if he came at the Pat McAfee show.
That's what I was hoping.
Play some Chase Rice.
You know, yeah, I
Because he
know.
does that.
Yeah.
Intense look in the eyes of Adam Cole. And never short on words. The brash Pat McAfee.
Pennsylvania by way of Indianapolis. Weighing at 240 pounds, Pat McAfee!
Beth, I know you've been very critical of some of the things that Pat McAfee has said over the past several weeks.
First of all, let's be clear. Pat McAfee is a world-class athlete. But let's be blunt. Look who's here and look at the shirts he's wearing. Pat McAfee's also a world-class jerk. I mean, what makes him think he's just going to walk in here, waltz in here with Adam Cole, an athlete of the caliber of Adam Cole, be able to compete?
Because everything Pat McAfee has set his mind to in his life, he's excelling. Pat McAfee has called himself next level. And Ben predicted tonight, it ends with one swing of his own foot.
So this is obviously McAfee's debut match. I will say prior to this match,
Notice McAfee didn't come alone on
it was unanimous. And Brady and I watched the promo. Everybody said his promo was one of the best promos this year.
This year and for a while. Oh yeah, for sure.
He just gets that and being an athlete outside of wrestling, he gets that natural heel heat that cool heels like Adam Cole don't get because of the smarks like me who are like,
here we go. Time for talk is over, but the trash talk is continuing.
Don't care about
When you're talking about Pat McAfee, the time for talk is never over, Vic.
Apparently it's time to flex too.
And it's been no secret, Pat McAfee's been training incredibly hard for the past several weeks for this matchup. That said, you cannot
substitute for the experience possessed by Adam Cole.
Several weeks, Corey. Let's be clear. Adam Cole has been wrestling since he was 18 years old. Over a decade of experience.
I agree, Beth, but you have to look at Pat McAfee's history, his accolades. He's been in the Pro Bowl. He's been an All-Pro. Everything Pat McAfee has set his mind to, he has done on another level. This could be the next in a series of great accomplishments.
Well, that is true, but Pat McAfee's got to know that this isn't the Super Bowl. This is NXT TakeOver. On McAfee this time. Oh, wait a minute.
Look at that, though.
There was almost one swing of Cole's foot that ended this match.
From Adam Cole.
There was a reality check for Pat
There's
McAfee.
no timeouts in NXT, Pat. No water breaks. Come on.
Oh, that's pissing Cole off. Just the selling of like how dangerous Cole's super kick.
And McAfee right back in, and now McAfee turning things around on Adam Cole. You mentioned the training that Pat McAfee has gone through. He's been very vocal on posting it on social media grades all over the place.
Pat McAfee doesn't do anything at less than 110%. That includes his first ever match in an NXT ring. Boom! Big tackle by McAfee.
And the trash talk continuing. And now Pat McAfee has the... and again, McAfee getting out of dodge.
Yeah, it's that heel work, too.
Well, McAfee certainly did his homework on Adam Cole.
No doubt about it. McAfee is a very highly intelligent human being. It's going to translate into the
Also
ring.
quick to huddle with his posse.
No more getting I think you're starting to realize that I'm a better human than you. And that
Mocking the Undisputed Era.
The disrespect continues.
Well, Cole, look at it. Wait a minute. There's the Undisputed Era now.
This thing could pop off in a hurry. Sure. William Regal had extra security standing by, knowing this is a volatile situation.
This is getting heated.
Bet this thing's about to blow up. Oh my God!
Pat McAfee
No
just locked
shit.
down everyone.
Swanton, yeah.
How is this for not belonging in the NXT world? Ladies and gentlemen, McAfee sacrificing his own body with a beautiful swanton, taking down everybody.
Stunned at what we just saw.
That was like straight out of Jeff.
Are you starting to believe yet?
I'm still not convinced, Grace, but that was impressive. Let's be real.
Listen, years ago in NXT, a man walked through the doors from the NFL and nobody respected him, said, you only got here because of what you did on the football field. Through hard work and attitude, that guy now runs Friday Night SmackDown. King Corbin, who, by the way, happened to be roommates with Pat McAfee. Start believing.
Well, Pat McAfee now stomping away on Adam Cole. McAfee.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, Grace. This is night one for Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee's better on his night one than just about anybody I've ever seen on their night one.
And look at McAfee now. And look at the chest of Adam Cole starting to turn red.
And don't lose sight of the fact this is Adam freaking Cole we're talking about. This isn't some low-level beginner. This is one of the longest reigning champions in the company's history.
The longest reigning NXT champion in the company's history. And McAfee winding up and dropping
Well,
Cole.
let's hope that McAfee doesn't get overconfident.
McAfee is a good heel.
So far, Beth,
Exactly.
Pat McAfee's confidence has been his best weapon. That was a warning shot.
But Graves, Pat McAfee can't get overconfident in this matchup.
Oh, you're right, with a veteran like Adam Cole, any mistake will be capitalized upon.
2 weeks,
But right now, McAfee talking smack and backing it up.
Reminding Cole that it only took him 2 weeks, and now McAfee showcasing strength.
Wow!
You like that?
And planting Adam Cole center of the ring. McAfee in the cover. Hook of the leg. And quickly, Adam Cole kicking out. And right on top of Adam Cole goes Pat McAfee.
This is brilliant. McAfee is excelling beyond his years. He's got no experience in this ring, basically, and he is doing phenomenally right now.
I hate to agree with you in this situation.
Really didn't go
McAfee
into
has been
training for
nothing
2
short
weeks, or
than
has this been in the
impressive.
works for longer?
Adam Cole trying to find his way back into this
definitely
one.
the storyline they're going
Time to get there. Right in front of my eyes. You better knock it off, all right? It's not a rule. It is a rule. Hey, I'm the referee. You better respect.
Well, this is the NFL. You can't talk trash to the NXT officials. And McAfee, though, right back on top of Adam
McAfee
Cole.
certainly did his homework on bending the rules. I've seen a couple of handfuls of hair.
Just sweaty.
Listen, Pat McAfee's got a lot of friends to teach him a few tips and tricks here and there.
Let's not count out Adam Cole.
Well, they always wet their hair.
Well, Cole almost on cue, but starting to fire back to the midsection. Swinging wildly. And what a drop kick by McAfee. I mean, Beth, are you stunned?
I mean, I'm stunned. I mean, I'm not surprised. McAfee is in the best shape of his life.
Well, are you stunned or are you not surprised? Make up your mind.
I'm not taking anything away from the athlete that McAfee is, but you cannot substitute for experience.
Cole is in the danger zone right now. All it takes is one swing of Pat McAfee's foot, and it's lights out.
And McAfee stalking Adam Cole. Oh! And Cole answering back.
Maybe Pat getting a little too big for his britches in this instance.
And this one Adam Cole's been waiting for. We go toe-to-toe with Pat McAfee. They're slugging it out.
It's a hockey fight.
Oh!
And this is what I was talking about. Adam Cole at his best.
Now it's really a hockey
I like
fight.
that. I like
Slap
that.
might have woken up Adam Cole. And Cole now just planning with that pump kick. Pat McAfee.
Thinking about all the disparaging comments McAfee has made over the last several weeks.
And now it's Adam Cole just stopping away on Pat McAfee.
And the pendulum has swung in favor of Adam Cole.
It certainly has, and all that pent-up frustration over the last 2 years that's been inside Adam Cole starting to come out now. Here against McAfee at NXT TakeOver 30.
McAfee feeling that he may be in over his head.
Up goes McAfee, and Cole planting McAfee center of the ring. This has got to be it. Cole into the cover, and McAfee kicking out.
That was unbelievable. Let's take one more look at this impact high on the neck of Pat McAfee. And I can't believe McAfee was able to kick out.
Well, Beth, how about the facial expression of Adam Cole after the kick out? Almost had a smirk come across his face.
And now Cole adding a little bit of...
Able to evade, rolls him up, cover! McAfee nearly stole the win right there.
Whoa!
Oh, that's gotta do
And
it.
the cover goes Cole. Hook of the leg, that's gotta be it. And again, Pat McAfee kicks
Adam
out.
Cole is stunned. To be honest,
I think it's safe to admit that at this point, Adam Cole underestimated Pat McAfee, just like everybody did.
Oh my God.
I don't know that McAfee knows what state he's in right now, but he's still in the match.
It makes me wonder if he's going
you
to take
cannot
the,
take away from
Sunrise.
everything that McAfee has brought to the table tonight.
We're all realizing this isn't Pat McAfee's past.
McAfee said he was going to shut up the haters, silence the doubters, and so far has made great progress. But Adam Cole continues to pour on the pressure.
Oh, and almost out of desperation, Pat
The guy's got a
McAfee
wrestling
lunging
rink in
Like,
his...
he's been wanting
to knock Adam Cole
I doubt that
off the
he'll
top
ever do it on
rope.
a weekly basis, but to come
Was it
back and
smart
do a
move?
match
Was desperate?
every so
Absolutely.
often on the
It
limited, like
achieved
a
the
Brock
desired
Lesnar
result.
style
You're
schedule.
one of
Damn
those
right.
guys who comes in and do it for like a
Cole is hurting.
Yeah.
Okay, now wait a minute.
Well, and I think if he did it
Now,
on
this
a
one
Brock
is
Lesnar
not
style
the
schedule,
I've seen, dude.
McAfee's getting maybe a little... Oh, I don't think we see this ending well.
But Adam Cole turning
He's
things
going for
around
a
now.
superplex.
McAfee starting to fight back as well. Both superstars teetering on the top rope.
What?
What?
What? McAfee just landed on his feet. Cole moment of disbelief.
Dude, no fucking way.
McAfee hooked Cole from the top rope. Superplex.
Godspeed, good.
Bro,
That's gonna be the
McAfee could be a
biggest
wrestler
in
legit.
history.
Like that slow count.
Ball's closed.
Dude,
Oh my
I just
God.
want to say, I called this.
We're about to
As
see it
soon as
again, and
they
I
fought,
still
I
don't
said,
know
if
how
they
to
have a
believe it.
match,
But watch
This'll be
this
great.
athleticism.
Because
This is like one of my
He is-
favorite watch-ons we've done.
his athleticism is awesome. But it's better than I even thought. Because his promo work, his heel work, his character.
Yeah, don't ever call him just a punter ever again.
This is one of the best debuts I've ever seen.
And that's what they were talking about, the announcers.
And then a lot of people were saying this was supposedly
It's one thing to not look like
among
a
the best
fool on
debut
your
matches
first
from a
night in
non-wrestler.
Pat McAfee.
Right
It's
up there with
another.
like Ronda
The key
Rousey's
stuff is
debut, D'Angelo
next level,
Williams when he
but
wrestled
that's
in
what
Impact.
McAfee promised.
Wait, look at Pat McAfee.
This is certainly up there.
McAfee eyeing up Adam
This is
Cole.
better than Lawrence Taylor and Man Man
Give
Moore.
the punt! Give the punt! But McAfee's
Oh, no, he missed the punt. He
into
punted
the
the
steel
stairs.
steps.
As hard as Pat kicks, he might have just shattered his
The
own foot.
steel steps completely shifted.
And you can see the look in Adam Cole's eyes. And you look at Shark
just
with
wearing
blood in the
tanning
water.
And
kicks.
you can hear the pain coming
Yeah,
through from
yeah.
Pat
Not a
McAfee.
ton of protection from that footwear McAfee's wearing.
Yeah, not the first. I mean, John Cena wears sneakers too, so.
And Cole now, wait a minute.
But it's definitely rare.
What did the other dudes wear?
Boots.
Cole
Looks like Cole.
goes down low. Back
Usually
to the injured
taller,
leg.
under the
And
belt.
now looking from a
Yeah,
figure
wrestling
four.
boots, they have like a
Looking
flat
from a
bottom,
figure
so
four.
you can move around in them more.
McAfee trying to block the figure four, but now Cole has it cinched
Now, the
in.
only guys I can
And
think of that wear
McAfee going to
sneakers
tap
are,
out.
I mean, McAfee obviously, but Cena
Cole
and
capitalizing on
He's talking.
Enzo Amore. He's got him in a figure four leg lock here. That's Ric Flair's finisher.
Like Adam talking,
Talking trash
they
now.
got me
Right
out,
back
got me
to
out.
McAfee. McAfee got his
What's great
shoulders
is
up. And one.
about the finisher or that hold on him is that you're essentially breaking a leg over a leg.
Pressure was reversed for a moment, but Cole continued the momentum.
And that's what 12 years in the and Pat McAfee to the bottom
McAfee
rope.
definitely studying that rule book.
And I can't believe Pat McAfee, foot into the steel steps, was able to hold his own. I guess and find a way to get free bet from the figure four, as you mentioned, to the bottom
But he
rope.
was in that
He's
figure
selling
four
really
an
good.
awful
I was gonna say
long
the thing about
time.
this fight is Adam
Doing
Cole's
more
supposed to
damage
be
to that foot and
defending
shin
champ,
bone.
or at least he's
McAfee finding out a lot about himself right now.
Here comes this movie.
McAfee being defiant, and Adam Cole now.
What I like about Adam is he talks a bunch of
Cole's
shit.
got to be careful
Or
not
I
to get
mean,
himself disqualified.
McAfee talks a bunch of shit.
Wait a minute.
A low kick.
The referee did not see the low kick by McAfee. And now McAfee laying out Cole's center of
That
the
was a
ring.
good sell.
You know what's weird about him being a punter is he's almost built like a tight
Here
end.
it comes.
He sells more than the Young Bucks do.
Yeah.
No.
He is kind of built like a
McAfee
Touchback.
with one swing of his foot.
Well, they just called out the touchback.
You gotta be kidding! No! Cole kicked out.
McAfee in shock and understandably so.
No, that is fake.
Clearly in
They're in Florida,
agony.
I mean.
Pat
But yeah, that's
connecting
definitely spring.
with what he was looking for. The punt kick right in the chest
He
of
was
Adam
on
Cole.
vacation with his
I don't know how much damage he
recently.
done to his foot when he kicked the steel
So that
steps
might not
and
be
beat Pat
fake.
McAfee before delivering
It's awful
that huge
orange.
punt just
The
moments
camera
ago.
does that
Forget how we
too.
got in that
Yeah.
situation.
I mean,
the
I know they
lighting.
put mega on these dudes, but like, I think he actually has
Corey,
a pretty good
I
game.
asked this about Pat McAfee, only 2 weeks to train. What could he have left in his arsenal?
Well,
I
he
have
probably
no
was
idea.
planning in preparation.
McAfee's
for
blown
sure,
my mind the
knowing
entire
most-
night.
I mean,
He might be about to
otherwise
find
you're
Oh, there it
out.
is, there it is.
Otherwise, you go out there like Sheamus looking like a friggin' bottle of
He
milk.
doesn't really have a belly, he just kind of has a weird body.
He's rocking a dad bod.
Did he just
I don't
Mick
call that
Foley?
dad
With
bod
his
just
sights
yet.
set
It's
on
probably
Adam
just,
Cole.
It's a dad bod in preparation.
Did he just Mick Foley? Did he just go bang bang?
With a Hail
Probably.
Mary, and it did
I
not
think-
I
pay
don't
off.
think he did.
Now look at the focus on the face of Adam Cole.
He's creeping up on like a cat, though.
I want you to gonna watch me beat some shit up!
So much like that.
Big, stupid mouth.
Stop!
He takes his knee down, his knee pad down when he does the last shot,
What's on the mind of Adam Cole?
which is that running knee to the face, but he's going for the Panama Sunrise. Something
Cole
different.
certainly did.
I don't think you
And
guys
now
have seen
Cole
this move.
looking to put the exclamation
It takes a
point
lot of
on this matchup.
cooperation.
Looking for the Panama City
There it is.
Sunrise.
Wow, he fucking did it. He took the Panama Sunrise.
I think that's it.
Into the cover. Adam Cole.
So yeah, that's it.
Right.
Dude, McAfee fucking took a Panama Sunrise. I mean, okay.
Here's what I'll say about this, man. I think McAfee held his own very impressive for a debut. There's no way he's gonna win the match.
He wasn't going to beat the 403-day champion, but like, man,
It was a good match.
I want to see him wrestle again.
I want to see more of McAfee.
You know what would be great, honestly?
I want to know how many times they practiced the finishing
That's
move.
just it. This was not rehearsed.
That was what
They never
Mike was telling me.
practiced that
They
finishing
may have
move once.
practiced
They
that
may have done
move.
it like a few
That's
times.
what I mean.
They may have practiced the move, but the match itself was not rehearsed.
No.
However,
And that goes without saying because I've practiced shit a million times too, and I know people have. It never goes according to plan.
So-
So that it happened live like this, that's awesome.
here's the thing. I would love McAfee to stick around. What would be great is if he led a faction of guys. So you have guys from the NXT roster that can wrestle. So McAfee doesn't always have to get in the ring. And then
Right.
every so often you throw him in a tag match, or maybe you have him build heat with a guy who's like, I want to get my hands on you, you know? But you have him just as a constant presence. You could have him manage a group of guys that need a mouthpiece.
Bingo. This
And
is
he could-
exactly what
he
I was
could
just gonna
talk.
say. I was just gonna say.
I was gonna say his
after
mouth.
this, McAfee totally opened his career up into the wrestling.
Here's the
world,
thing.
where he can have guys.
You have plenty of ex-NFL, ex-NBA
Mhm.
athletes, or like guys that didn't quite get there.
Or your friends that are.
who go into the performance center all the time.
Mhm.
What's his name? Dio Madden. He used to be a tackle for. His name was Brendan Williams. He used to play for the Texans and the Jaguars.
Okay.
He wrestles. He was Raw commentator for a little while, but he wrestles for NXT and for Booker T's promotion,
Oh,
Reality
okay.
of Wrestling. You could easily turn him heel and bring him back on TV and have him and Pat McAfee team up, or have him manage Pat.
And name it the real athletes,
Like-
or
Because Pat McAfee.
Like,
okay,
you could get the right kind of heat by having
Didn't-
these sports guys.
Didn't
managed
Pat
by
McAfee just get like a big deal for his podcast just recently, right?
Fan,
Within last-
FanDuel, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, yeah, he has one of the most popular sports podcasts out there, if not the most.
What I'm coming to believe is that after that, then this slowly came into motion. His passion for wrestling is coming true. This is not the last Pat McAfee match that we will ever see. And
No.
you know what? He's probably, like you said, Mike, he's probably going to go deeper into the wrestling world, getting friends, ex-athletes into it, and maybe starting
You know
his
what would
own thing eventually.
I don't think it would ever happen because they're just not big enough. But just get a bunch of ex-NFL punters and kickers to walk out there with him and just name his
Call him
faction for the brand.
What do we? Yeah, you call him like the.
Or just the brand.
Yeah.
The brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they all have these special moves that has something to do with kicking or something. I mean, it would be.
So
the sky's the limit.
Dave Meltzer gave his star ratings. He gave Adam Cole and Pat McAfee 3 3/4 stars out of 5. That's nothing to shake your nose at either. I mean, that's pretty damn good for a guy who hadn't wrestled before. Among the highest rated matches on the night, too. So, very cool. Yeah, I'm eager to see more about the whole about Pat McAfee and see what they do.
What did he say about it on the show? Did you listen?
I haven't. He's kind of mulling over whether or not he would he'd do it again, but I feel like he would.
He will.
It said after NXT Takeover, will I get back in the squared circle? I'm not 100% sure. I would hope so. I would hope that they would do something like that, but
But he's kind of got an identity to protect too. He's got his own thing going on. He doesn't want to be like, oh, this guy's just going to turn into a amateur wrestler. Like, we're not going to listen to him anymore.
Says here, Pat McAfee has wrapped up his current WWE commitments. To be completely honest, I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen. I'm not under contract to do anything else with Mr. H. I assume he and I will talk about this at some point. Brian Last, who is the co-host of Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru podcast, he said WWE really need to keep Pat McAfee around. He's the best heel they have.
It really is.
I mean, he is wonderful. I really think that that he can do something wonderful. Obviously, he would not be a guy that wrestles week to week.
No.
But just the idea of him coming back once in a while to have a match with somebody. Obviously, you got to put him. Not that he's not good, but you got to put him with somebody like an Adam Cole. You got to put him with a top guy that can kind of carry a match. Mm-hmm. But the idea of him maybe coming in with a faction of ex-athletes or something that are trained to be wrestlers, guys like Dio Madden and that sort, could be really interesting. But it was a good start, honestly. It was a great match, great watch along for sure. So I don't know. I think that about wraps her up, guys. We have anything else we need to cover?
No.
I don't think so.
All right.
Good show, gentlemen.
That was a wonderful show. A good return for Skylar.
Stay safe out there.
We'll be back at it next week with episode 26. So